live from New York. Wow.
Sharpie fell.
Too exciting.
Well, one. Do you have it matching?
Of course.
We need a darker.
Doesn't match?
It matches the tie in the pocket.
Whatever.
square.
It matches plenty. We've got, listen, Sharpies.
First hour, first things first. There we go. Lots of banners.
Lots of banners. It's election day.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Chiefs stay undefeated.
Huge.
Big day.
Start with the undefeated champs. Mahomes puts up 30 points in an overtime win over the Bucs. Kelsey grabs 14 catches. Wow, for 100 yards. DeAndre Hopkins catches 2 touchdowns and debuts a Remember the Titans celebration. I thought it was mocking, but it was actually nice. Brew, did the Chiefs do enough to impress you? Yesterday, we kicked it around.
I said what I wanted. I wanted like a 300-yard game, 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Would have had the 300-yard game, but for Xavier Worthy.
And would have had 4
first
touchdowns.
Play, yeah. That should have been. Worthy is a speedster. He's not really a good receiver. This should have been an easy touchdown. He doesn't even get his feet in. But to answer your question, this might not be good for my Ravens, but I keep it real.
Yeah.
Yes, I was finally impressed. I more than anyone, I think, off the show and even on the show, including Nick, have been dying, have been begging, have been pleading and clamoring for what? The light show.
Light show.
Even Mahomes used my term.
Show.
The light show. It was the most light we've seen in a long time.
It was 15-play drive.
It was no.
Yes.
It was 3 touchdowns for the first time in 21 games. That's a light show by his standards now. It was nearly 300 yards, and like we said, should have been for just the second time this season. This was the Patrick Mahomes I want to see.
There we go.
Because, look, the Chiefs have substance. We know that. I mean, they won the last 2 Super Bowls. They've had substance. And substance is critical. Substance is key. But you know what's even better than substance? Substance and style.
That's true.
And when Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback, you should have some style.
Yeah.
Well,
and last night they showed some style. And credit to DeAndre Hopkins because he showed us, Nick, it was the receivers. Give him a good receiver. An Avenger.
Oh, yeah.
And see what happens.
You think
Patrick
DeAndre
Mahomes
Hopkins
is back.
is an Avenger?
I think yes. I think DeAndre Hopkins is still an Avenger. As much of an Avenger as a Brandon Ayuk, who was horrible this year. Okay. So my point is this.
I don't
They gave him a good receiver, and Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, I was impressed.
Okay, well, the
and
Chiefs, listen, Brew was impressed. I was annoyed.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't want the Chiefs staff to use the good plays in this game. And occasionally, a game they're supposed to have control of, all of a sudden it's closer than you'd like late, and they go to the unstoppable good plays, which they used on the 4th quarter drive to tie the game, and then in overtime. And they're not big chunk plays. They are just a guaranteed 5 or 6 yards. Because while Brew is worried about style, the Chiefs are worried about one thing, history, and Brew couldn't have set it up even better because they're chasing history, not your silly style points.
Yeah, you can do both.
Yeah, exactly right.
You can do both.
Well, here's the
Muhammad
thing.
Ali did both. That's all I'm saying.
Different
do
sport,
both.
I would argue.
Yeah,
and
but do both.
Fair argument.
Okay,
do
but
both.
also Muhammad Ali, when he was doing both, lost sometimes. This team doesn't.
They haven't won every single one.
No, but in this iteration of them has never lost. Okay. And whatever they need to be on any given day, they will instantly be. For the first time all year, the defense didn't quite have it. So for the first time all year, they score 30. They put on the light show like Brew's talking about. Score 30 plus. Mahomes has this type of game. For the first time all year, the opposition seems to be able to pick up 3rd and longs, so the Chiefs go perfect on their 3rd downs. Now, they have been good, in fact, great. In fact, historically great on 3rd downs all year, but yesterday was even to a higher extent. And that is one of the reasons that, to me, it is so crystal clear what they're doing. They are so confident when they need it, they'll get it. Yeah. That early in games, they're working on things. And I told you this last year, and you guys mocked me. And then last night was a perfect example. Let's try to get Xavier more involved. Run a play for him, should be a wide open touchdown. He screws it up. No problem. Drive later, run another play for him. He screws it up. They're in 2nd and 20. Okay, now we got to actually do the things we know that will work because we are using the games as practice because that's the only thing to do during our actual practice, which is the games. Because until January, it's all practice.
Yeah.
And for all of the commentary that I've heard about how muddling or mediocre the Chiefs' offense is, I see a team that every time they need it, they get it. 3rd downs, the money down. Where do they rank in the NFL this year? Oh, wait, they're the best. Where does that number rank historically? Last 15 years, this Chiefs team is the 2nd best 3rd down team we've seen. 3rd is the Chiefs from 3 years ago. 1st is peak Drew Brees Saints. So this idea that there was something they needed to fix, something that was wrong, I thought always was silly. They keep showing you they are the ultimate team. When the Chiefs in the Chargers game, offense is rattled by Rashee Rice's injury, Mahomes' bad interception, and they're down 10-0. You know what the defense does? Pitches a shutout the rest of the way. Yesterday, when the defense doesn't have it, the offense opens up. Yes, listen, I think DeAndre has the best hands of any receiver Mahomes has had. I think calling him an Avenger is, patently ludicrous given where he is at this point of his career.
Yeah, but he's exactly really good quarterbacks.
I know, but he's just an aging player. But he's exactly what the Chiefs need in that spot. And here's the thing. If he wasn't there and Juju was there, he'd be exactly what they need. Because they reverse engineer their team based on the personnel that they have available to them, which is why they can be without their top 2 wide receivers, their top running back, 2 of their top tight ends, and their best receiver that they added off the street in Juju initially, all of it, and just keep it rolling. So I think impressiveness is overrated for a team that flatly never loses, personally.
Do you have more banners?
I have a bunch more banners. But
when are they coming?
Well, they'll be coming throughout the show.
Oh, the show.
I didn't know.
Not the segment. Okay.
I thought it was going to be rolling. All right, let's talk about the Bucs, who had a chance to take the lead after scoring a touchdown with 27 seconds left, but opted to kick the extra point rather than go for 2. Brew, do you think the Bucs should have gone for 2?
Absolutely. And you guys know I'm not the guy that's always going to go for it on 4th, go for 2 points. I think you have to go by feel. And when in this situation, if I'm the Bucs, I'm like, we're on the road. We're not expected to win, so we kind of have nothing to lose. All right? If we go to overtime, we have to either march the length of the field and score.
Like they just had.
But I think the chances of you getting that 2 points, which would have been tough, were better than you marching down the field, I think, in overtime. Secondly, if you don't get the kick, which they didn't, the Chiefs could march down and score, which is exactly what happened. Or if we kick a field goal in overtime, they get the ball anyway, and maybe they score a touchdown or another field goal. So I thought they're the best chance they had to win. And if they had gone for 2 and not scored, they would have got a lot of criticism.
I don't think so.
But I think their best, you don't think so?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think their best chance of winning was to go for 2.
So everyone seems to agree with you, Brew, but everyone is talking about this game, in my opinion, in the wrong context. They are acting as if the context was the situation the Ravens would have been in if Likely had scored. Likely caught that ball out of bounds on the final play of regulation.
Right.
Zeros on the clock. Mm-hmm. In that spot, you must go for 2 if you're the Bucs. Maybe the Ravens, if they think they're even, you don't have to, whatever. This was totally different because if they go for 2 and get it, I think they have a less likely chance of winning.
So you don't think they should have gone for 2?
No, because 27 seconds, 3 timeouts, down 1, Mahomes is getting in field goal range. Everyone knows it. You know it. I know it.
But why wouldn't you just say that about overtime?
Well, because in overtime you can get the coin toss. No, in overtime you can get the coin toss. They giving the ball to Mahomes in a gotta-have-it spot in today's NFL when possessions start at the 30 and he has 3 timeouts and nearly 30 seconds, he's getting those 25 yards. Now, listen, maybe Butker misses, but the next time Butker misses a game-winning kick will be the first time he misses a game-winning kick. Because it was tied, the Chiefs punted. The Chiefs we're like, okay, we don't have to get it.
Yeah.
So I thought your best chance of not getting gotta have it Mahomes was exactly what they did. Tie it. Chiefs will be a little conservative and then hope you win the coin toss. Because otherwise you are guaranteeing, and this is why I didn't understand your tweet, Wilds, you're putting the game in Mahomes' hands. And because if you get it, and you're up 1 with 27 seconds left, you're saying Patrick beat us. And as we know in those spots, next banner, and Wilds, normally you're supposed to say this is not investment advice. This is investment advice. I mean, live betting the Chiefs is a better, like, there's no better investment in sports.
Just legally, your 401k is a pretty sound investment.
Are you getting 100% returns day of? Just wait for the Chiefs to be a pick 'em in these games. And so because you agree with Brew.
The thing, though, they should. He messed up Bowles by calling that timeout.
That I agree with.
That's where he messed up.
I
with
totally
33
agree
seconds left, he calls it.
Once you call that timeout,
no, I'm with you though. I disagree with Nick.
I understand. And this is Seth Walder, who I follow on social, said, if you go for 2 and convert, this is my favorite phrase, which is what I want to say, you induce unbridled aggression from your opponent.
4th down, because they...
I get it. You got
but if that's
downs.
the way I lose, so be it. If I'm Todd Bowles, like, you know what? I'm going to show that I believe in my team. We're going to go right now. We're going to try to get 2. And if Mahomes beats us in 27 seconds and Harrison Butker kicks a field goal in the rain, then so be it. But if I lose the coin toss and then Baker, I don't know if we have the video, and Baker's like, oh my God, we lost the game.
The best argument for you is
okay, there it is.
Yeah, we show the video and then that is the moment they lose the coin toss, Baker's like, we've lost.
Like, I'm not saying Dan Campbell and the Lions are sort of like the pinnacle of, pristine football decisions, but what would the Lions have done?
No,
I like aggressive football. They would have gone for it.
So can I just read your tweet back to you?
Sure.
Because I do follow Wilds on Twitter, Brew.
Give it a shot.
But then I text him about his tweets and he leaves me on red, which I don't understand. You're giving Mahomes a chance to win the game rather than controlling your own destiny. You have to go for 2. Mahomes may win the game and the MVP right here.
Yeah.
What single part of that is different if they go for 2? You're giving Mahomes a chance to win the game. They'd be up 1. Point. What? You
they didn't control their own destiny. Even with what they did, they didn't control their own destiny. The coin flip control.
No, but I think the Chiefs, and people can reverse engineer it and be like, well, they didn't get in field goal range in this spot. They would have gone for the 4th down, obviously, if they were down a point, and I think everything would be different. I oddly think in this spot, their best hope was to get a slightly conservative Chiefs offense at a tie game, which they did, and then hope Baker calls heads instead of tails.
But when they were lined up and you were watching the game, it's like, here comes the kicking team. Were you like, oh no?
I didn't have a pure heart in this because I had the Chiefs -2.5.
Okay.
So in live line. So I needed them to kick the extra point. So I don't know how I would have, because I agree with my gut feel on that type of stuff. But what I will tell you is the part where I said yes was when Bowles called the timeout. My worst case scenario is they score that touchdown instead of with 27 left, with 7 left. And in that case, I 1,000% agree with you guys. You go for 2. I just think that with 3 timeouts in nearly 30 seconds, Mahomes is getting in field goal range. If it would have been 15 seconds, less than 13 seconds, then I think going for 2 is unequivocally the right call. Unequivocally.
I mean, either way, you gotta stop them. I mean, unless you got the coin flip. Yeah. So I would have went for it.
Chiefs are now 8-0 and on a 14-game winning streak, which their last loss dates back to Christmas. Take a look at the rest of their schedule: Broncos, Bills, Carolina, the Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers, and then the Broncos yet again. We flirted with 20-0 last year. That didn't last very long. But now the question is, what was our official question? It was 17-0 on the board, rather than should they go for it.
I mean, it's certainly on the board. And this is going to be a confusing take for the audience. Okay? I want them to lose before Christmas. Because I want them, if we show that schedule again, there's a unique thing because the NFL decided to use the Chiefs to make itself billions of dollars. That's fine. But near the end of the season, you have a 4-day window between Week 16 against Houston, that's a Saturday, and then a Wednesday game at what I think will be a Pittsburgh team fighting for the division, playoff seeding, all of it.
Game.
Christmas Day. That's why. Did I say it wrong?
Sunday
Sorry.
and Wednesday?
Saturday to Wednesday.
Saturday
they play a short week the week before, short-ish, and then a tiny week. I want the Chiefs to be able to sit all their key players that game. And if they are
Christmas Day?
Yes. Because I think playing essentially a Thursday night game against a physical, desperate team is a recipe to go into the playoffs banged up as hell. And if they're undefeated, they won't do it. If you're 15-0 going into Christmas, I don't think you sit everyone. And so
I guess you're not going to sit. Don't you think there's some prestige to playing on Christmas too?
Not on Netflix the first time. No, I don't. I don't look at that as
that's
like
Netflix.
No, I'm just saying
linear cable.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that's not like a traditional. I think there's prestige to Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like that's a new thing the NFL's do. I get it, but you know what I mean? Like it's not, and it's a win. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And so I think it's weird because I'll probably pick the Chiefs to win each week. But all year long, I have felt this coming section of games, these two games, they're splitting them at best. They're either losing to Denver because they've looked ahead to Buffalo, or they're undefeated going to Buffalo and Buffalo gets them. But you've got to say it's on the board. You've got to say it's on the board.
Can I show you a stat, Brew, before you go? Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to hit your arm. Started 8-0 the last 6 instances. This 9th game is a tricky one. It's one that you lose. Now, you can still make the Super Bowl, but this is a little bit of a trap game. To get to 9-0. So,
look, it's definitely on the board. I've been thinking for weeks now that they might go 17-0. I think they got Denver twice. Obviously nobody they play is better than them, but they got Denver twice and Pittsburgh, who you mentioned on Christmas Day. I think if they're going to lose, I think it'll be one of those 3. I don't think they lose to Buffalo because I think they will get up. Like, there's no way they'll take Buffalo lightly. They'll probably want to send Buffalo a nice message.
Well, and it locks up the 1 seed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's your comp right now for it.
Go ahead.
I think it'll be either they split with Denver or lose to Pittsburgh. If they lose.
So I've lived in and around New York City for 20 some odd years. Do you know how many times I've been to the Empire State Building, the top of the Empire State Building?
0. Once?
Never.
Yeah.
And the reason I've never gone is today's not the day. And today's not the day every day. So I know we look at it like surely the Chiefs are going to lose. But on a play-to-play basis,
there's a very specific recipe.
And I don't. Right. I just today's not the day. This play is not the play.
Right.
They're so singularly focused that I don't think it lends itself to long vision. We might lose. It would be good.
So Dust, give us 1 extra minute so I can roll through these graphics because I totally agree with you, Wilds. Because how are the Chiefs going to lose? Take it out of Mahomes' hands, blow them out.
Yeah.
They're not getting blown out. Yep. I suppose it's possible, but it basically never happens to them. So the other way kind of has to be the Ravens game situation. Score with no time left, down less than a touchdown, or go for 2. Because for as maligned as Mahomes has been this year statistically, when he needs it, he's been the best player in the league. On 3rd down this year, how's Patrick been across the board? On 3rd down, he's been vintage Patrick Mahomes. In the 4th quarters, how has he been? In the 4th quarter, he has been vintage Patrick Mahomes, which is why I don't know if the record's going to be perfect, guys, but I know Patrick Mahomes is whenever he needs to be, he's going to be perfect. And he was again last night. You know what I mean? Even though, best I can tell, he broke his ankle again. It's a lot of broken ankles for him. Him and LeBron, the two greatest athletes of my life, they break their ankle all the time and they're fine no matter what.